today 3 outstanding SAISD students who are now officially, as their shirts indicate, Texas NASA Aerospace Scholars. And this is quite an achievement. It wasn't just a sheet of paper. Would you go back? First off, let me introduce you. Kevin Minzenmayer, Katherine Lauer, and Lori Scott. And you all are what grade in school?
We're all seniors.
All seniors. You were nominated by a teacher at least and your U.S. or Texas representative, is that right? And now, I was not aware that to get to participate in this, you had to do quite a bit of work before you ever went to Johnson Space Center. Somebody talk about that.
Well, we started about the turn of the semester in January this last year, and we completed 10 assignments, which they consisted of about a 500-word essay, and we had certain math problems we had to do, and then every other lesson as we went through, it had like a drawing or a diagram that we had to do along with it that was creative, that went along with what we were writing about in the essay. And then at the very end, about in that May, after we finished those 10 assignments, we got to the final project, and that was about 3 assignments combined into one thing, and it had a drawing along with it.
Now, this is after you were nominated.
Yes.
So you had these projects. Did you do them individually or jointly as a group?
Individually.
Okay, so you still could have been bumped from the actual experience based on the quality that you turned in on your assignments.
Yes, only about half of the people that were originally accepted into the program went on to NASA Johnson Space Center.
Well, then I would say a great deal was determined about how good you did your projects. So then this summer you went all at the same time?
No, we all went separate weeks.
Oh, okay. So once you get to Johnson's Spacecraft Center in Houston, what happens?
We had 2 separate parts of the day. The mornings were usually exploring Johnson Space Center, seeing things such as the Neutral Buoyancy Lab, which is the big pool that has a mock-up International Space Station in it. We got to see things such as Robonaut 2. There are 2 of them. They're twins. We got to see those. We got to see the Lunar Electric Rover. Those are like projects and work for NASA. And then in the afternoons, we had team projects, and everybody who was at the Haas camp that week, they were split up into 4 teams, and each team had a specific goal that they had to do, and all 4 of those goals collaborated and worked towards a mission to Mars. You were there with approximately how many students? How many kids were there each week? I had 48.
Yeah.
I would say about 50
Yeah.
There were
each
about
week.
10 kids in each group in 4 groups.
So a small group. How neat was that? And you all worked on a project with the researchers that are there at NASA. And now that you've completed that, you have the official title as the Texas NASA Aerospace Scholars. Prior to finishing that week, you were called what?
High school aerospace scholars.
Okay. Yes. How many years has this gone on and been an opportunity?
I honestly have no idea.
It's been going since the 90s.
That's what I was going to say.
Not sure when in the 90s, but the 90s.
Okay. And before our interview, I discovered that all 3 of you are also involved in the fine arts.
Yes.
Tell us what you do in the fine arts.
Since 7th grade, I've played trumpet and band, and lately I've been playing with jazz band, and that's just been something I've enjoyed ever since I started. I've never done anything like musical before middle school.
Well, I'll be.
And then this last year, me and Lori, we both went to area tryouts for band.
All right, and you have just won an award. Tell us about it.
Well, I went to the region choir auditions and I received 7th chair, so I get to go to the region choir clinic. But if you're in the top 12 chairs, you get to progress to the area round, And after that, there's area and then state. So I'm working up to go, hopefully get up to that
Cross
state
your
level.
fingers.
So band, choir, and Lori.
Band. I am one of the drum majors for the central band. I'm the piano player for the jazz band, and then during concert season, I play flute in the band as well.
And the reason I brought that up for our audience, I find more and more the connection that research shows that often kids who are bright in the sciences also have some exposure to some instrument or choral. And you three prove that small hypothesis that we have going on here. That's pretty neat, though. And your band just got a score of 1, which is the highest score this last weekend. So that is outstanding as well. Now, what do you think, how will experiencing being a part of this week and all that led up to it, the projects you had to do, but being there with approximately 50 other very bright high school kids, mostly Texas, is that right?
All Texas.
Oh, that's right, Texas, duh. How has that impacted your thinking about your future, if at all?
Well, they have a thing at NASA that's called a STEM career field, which that stands for science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. And just all the kinds of projects and group work that we did there that involved just promoting, like leading up to a job aspect that would be involved with working in one of those careers. And that just got us thinking about different majors we would like to do in college, and if we would like doing that later on in life as a career. And that really helped us pick out what to start looking for whenever we go to college.
Well, it's in your family. Your mom's a science teacher, and a very, very good one. And so she, I'm sure, understands the need for more science-related vocations. Do you know, Kevin, what you're interested? You all are almost halfway through your senior year. Do you know where you're going to college, Kevin, and what you might begin majoring in?
I'm actually accepted into Texas A&M right now, and I applied for mechanical engineering. I'm not sure which engineering I would like to do yet, but once I get there, I think I'll have a better knowledge of which one I would like to do.
Absolutely. What about you, Katherine?
Well, I'm looking at UT and A&M right now. I'm not really sure which.
That's okay.
Yeah, but I want to do civil engineering actually, so at least I have a major decided on. Just have to pick a college. But definitely having the NASA experience really reinforced my plan to do that. So, yes.
So engineering still is high on your list. Okay, Miss Lori, what about you? You with a mama and a daddy who are musicians.
I'm planning on majoring in physics, and then I might have a minor in music because I've grown up with it and I really love it. And I'm thinking either Baylor or A&M.
Okay. But all of those are good choices, even though you see my lead, but you know those are great, great schools and great majors. And certainly there's a real need and a push in our nation to get more young people into the STEM majors, and particularly there's a shortage of girls. But for all genders, there's just been a shortage for a long time, if not throughout the record keeping, that there have been not as many women as they wish in STEM fields. You all how can we help our audience to know if a parent or grandparent is seeing this interview and thinks, I would love for my grandchild or child to have this opportunity? Did you all know about this and volunteer and say, I hope that someone will recommend to me? How would a person go about getting this opportunity?
You have to be a junior in high school in Texas, and I at least saw it from a poster in a math class, but Miss Stevens, who was our physics teacher last year, she was the one who was kind of pushing it towards all the juniors, saying, hey, you should at least try this. And so she was willing to recommend anyone who wanted to.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
And some other students went as well, Jacob Starnes, Zach Pfluger, and Gareth Fox. Is that right? So more than just the three of y'all were able to be chosen to do this, but also to do your part once you were chosen. So it's a junior in high school nominating process, and a teacher nominates you. Is that a fair statement? And there are posters up in our high schools. Is that also fair? Okay, excellent. Tell me the neatest thing that you experienced while at NASA.
Well, when I was there on my week, we had a change of our schedule because the Wednesday night we were there, we got to see the shuttle debriefing of 26 and 27. And that was really neat because I'd never seen anything like it before. And all the astronauts, they talked about what went on their missions, and people asked them questions, and we got to sit in on that.
My goodness, that the average person in the community wouldn't have that opportunity. Wow. So that would rank real high for you. What about you, Katherine?
Gosh. For me, I think it was working with the staff at NASA. That was really cool, figuring out that as kids you could work with people that were actually working at NASA. And then doing all the different projects, they were incredibly fun. But that was definitely a big part of it for me.
Okay, so being around very bright people who've accomplished amazing things. That would be very, very neat. What about you, Lori?
Kind of like what Kevin said, the week I was there was the week that they were doing all the spacewalks. And so we got to see the last space shuttle spacewalk from Mission Control. And then another one, it was the week before they took all of their equipment into Arizona because they do like desert testing. And so they were doing a few tests on site, and they kind of had mock Arizona land. And so we got to see several of the rovers moving instead of just, oh, look, it's down there from the little display area.
So you each had a unique experience because purposefully they have you come different weeks so that you get to be, it forces you, I guess, to become a part of a group of other students that you wouldn't have known before. Did you feel that what you saw and experienced there makes you hope that our country will continue the space program even if it's more privatized? Did they make that a part of y'all's discussion?
Yeah, well, a lot of what we worked on was the mission to Mars. That was our main focus while we were there. And that'll take another 30 or 40 years to put together. But just because the shuttle program is over, it doesn't necessarily mean that NASA's
That was
completely
one
done.
big thing about NASA is that they're shutting down the shuttle program, and people are looking down upon that. But NASA's looking out to do much longer term goals and do much bigger things that they've done in the past. And that's just harder for people to see right now.
I think because the media told the part of the story of the people losing their jobs that were directly tied to the shuttle, and it gave the impression perhaps that it was being closed down. But the mission to Mars, can you name any other mission that they're working on long-term, decades out?
The Orion project.
And what is that?
That was, Wasn't that the asteroid one? No.
Kevin?
I forgot.
They had,
They have
I don't know if
several.
it's this
I can
project,
remember.
but they had one project where they're talking about harvesting materials out of asteroids and building something up in space instead of here on Earth. So that would actually cost less because they're not having to transport those materials off of Earth's gravity.
Yeah, what he's saying is it's easier to transport things from the moon to Mars than directly from Earth to
Right.
Mars. So if we were to create a base on the moon and then take the materials there and then take them to Mars, it would be much easier. So that's something they're looking into right now.
Well, I'm impressed, and I hope that young people in our community that are younger than or in their junior year would take advantage of this. And how many days were you in NASA?
Yeah,
A week?
about 6.
Yeah.
Okay,
A
so
week.
about a week.
Yeah.
Well, I congratulate you, first of all, for being nominated, second, for doing all the projects leading up to in a busy time, and then going and coming out where it'll impact your thinking of possible jobs that you would get training for in college. Young people, you make us proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.